Great Escape. I'm CJ Peterson with my co-host, Mr. Michael Scott Clifton.
Hello.
And we're here to talk today about book show table setup ideas. Before we jump into it, how was your week, Mike?
It has been a hot one. I imagine anyone living in Texas can relate to that. Um, any yard work, we were talking before the show, if you get up early in the morning, because that's about the only time you can do it. I think I think yesterday it got up to about 101 here, so and it's supposed to get up to 103 the next few days. So anyway, it's been a week to do things inside, and if you got to do things outside, you better do them early. So, but it's been a good week so far. And tomorrow we'll be at the Longview Book Show, Longview Art Show, I should say, Art Walk, and some other authors will be there. Patty Wiseman as well, and that will be 5 to 8 downtown Longview. Patty and I will be in the Vera Bank lobby, which is in old downtown Longview. I'm trying to think of the address. I think it's First Street. Something.
It's on your website, which
Right,
is
right.
in the
On the
comments.
website, right.
But it's on your website underneath the appearances, if I'm not mistaken.
And next week I have 2 speaking engagements. On Monday, July the 11th, I'll be at the Macmillan Library in Overton at 12 noon, and I will be talking to a book club there, and I'm looking forward to that. And then on Saturday, July the 16th, I'll be in Delight, Arkansas, talking to the Diamond Cutters Writing Club, and that will be about right now. I think it's around noon. And many, I appreciate the opportunities, with COVID, and I'm sure you had the same situation. I was starting to get some speaking engagements, and COVID hit and everything went boom, crickets chirping, silence. And then all of a sudden I'm starting to get these, offers to do speaking again, and I'd love to do them. And looking forward to the art walk tomorrow, and these 2 speaking engagements next week in Overton and Delight, Arkansas. Overton, Texas, and Delight, Arkansas.
Okay, so you can find where Mike's going to be appearing on michaelscottclifton.com, which is in the comments as well as currently on the screen. I love speaking as well. Mine's cjpetersonwrites.com, and you can look under the speaker page to find out the different categories. I have like 10 different things that I can talk about that are already set up. If it's not on, let me know and I can make one up. That's that easy. For me, I had, a long weekend because we were trying to get the book up to the editor, the new book that's coming out the end of August, beginning of September, and it is officially up. The editor has it, so I'm super excited. And then got some really cool news on Sunday, which I haven't told you yet. The Chief and Sarge book, A Day at the Races, A Lesson in Friendship, actually just won an International Book Award, the Purple Dragonfly Award.
Yay.
So,
congratulations.
We're excited sharing that kind of news. But yeah, we're excited. Got a hold of Davey Jones, my illustrator, and he was absolutely thrilled. We both are. So super excited. I'll be putting more on that later. So that means I'm up to 9 book awards.
Well, good for you, CJ.
Congratulations. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. So today, like I said, we're talking about table setups. Now, the cool thing about table setups is you can display things like the book awards that I just won. You can have those on there, and it adds a lot to your table and to what you do. So for right now, what we have is we have a couple pictures, and we're going to be talking about those to kind of give authors ideas or writers ideas on what to do with their table. This first one was during the Chautauqua Festival. That particular year, there were multiple canopies that went flying. So for outdoor events, my husband has this brilliant idea of using cat litter containers, and it weighs it down with the ratchet straps and that sort of thing. And it does great because ours was one of the few that didn't go flying. It was awesome. But you do have to be careful doing outdoor events for wind, especially, which we found out just this last year at Chautauqua Festival. And we'll get to that one in a minute.
Right.
One thing to pay attention in the back, you can see that I have a dolly back here and a cooler and comfy chairs because those aren't always readily available. And both of which help out immensely when it comes to moving your stuff from the vehicle to not, and you wouldn't think so. This one was during, I think, Kilgore Weekend. And I have the banner down below, and that one I got at Vistaprint, which is a great thing to do. And if you notice, everything's branded. It has the same little swivel thing. There's an author one sheet page, which is right here. For those who don't know what an author one sheet is, Mike, would you like to explain what that is?
It's basically a summary of your books and your bio and your website and all the important information about you from an author standpoint and where you can get the books. It's sort of like a cheat sheet, one-page cheat sheet on all things about the author and, again, how you can obtain the books.
Yep. I tell people the media kit is like the full pizza, and the author one sheet is just like a slice. So you get to kind of taste a little bit at a time.
Right.
If you want the full thing, you can always ask for media kits. But as you can see on this table, there are book awards. There's a price list over here. There's bookmarks. There's business cards. My podcasts are on here. The publishing company is on here. Some of the books from my sister. I even have a little tote bag that's in the back there. And then Chief and Sarge. And of course, you have Chief and Sarge because they're just cute and they draw attention. So speaking of attention, this one was at a book show in Halloween. And so that's why you're going to see a lot of costumes and interesting things going on. But if you notice, my sister has the dragons. Her book has dragons, and that drew attention to the kids. There's also candy on the table in multiple places, which usually draws the attention of those walking by.
Now, who's that at the very back there, CJ?
That would be Super Hubby. He's over there smiling. But yes, he usually comes with us and is a huge, tremendous help. So that's that one. And then Mike, here we have for you a couple really cool ideas. Would you like to talk to them about them?
Sure. Now, this is from the Longview Art Walk. They have that quarterly. And what I have is a 6-foot table and a 4-foot table. And whenever you're doing a setup on an indoor event, I always, even if they're supplying a table, I would suggest that you bring your own table just in case you have a little room or a little more room in your space that can add to your display space. So if you look, you'll see that there's a book stand that the books are on, and that is a triple-tiered book stand. Ron Wiseman, which is Patty Wiseman's husband, he makes those, and he's also made me a double-tiered book stand, and they are great for displaying your books. The thing about using book stands is what I have found out the hard way. You need to know the direction, if you can find the direction that the patrons, the people are coming. So if your book stand is pointed toward them, that's great. If your book stand is pointed away, that's not so good. And and sometimes it's hard to tell. You can't, sometimes if like I do a lot of Comic Cons, sometimes you just don't know the direction in which they're coming. But in this case, we know because in the picture to the left, that's where the entrance is. So you know they're coming in that way. Now, I don't know how clearly you can see, but I have these signs that you can get at Walmart for $1 or $2. And using just your printer, you can put any information about your books, about a newsletter sign up, about any kind of specials you're running, and all you have to do is take some scissors and you can slide them in, and it looks like they've been professionally made, and it doesn't cost you hardly anything. And you'll notice that I have a clipboard on the table, which is a sign-up sheet for my newsletter, my email list. I don't think I've ever been to a a book event yet where I didn't have at least a few people that signed up for my email newsletter. So it's always good to have them out there. And I always ask them if they'd like to sign up. And then, of course, business cards. You can see that there is a little display of business cards. Now, uh, can business cards aren't going to be as big of a help as you might think. A lot of people, you take them, you give it to them, and they throw them away, or they end up in the trash. However, on the back of my business cards, I have a QR code which they can scan that goes directly to the website. I've found since I've done that I have more people visiting the website, and I'm assuming that means that fewer of the business cards, are being thrown away. And you can't really see it as well in this picture, but you'll see the table with the red uh, tablecloth on it. One of the things I have found is if you put your books out on a table in mass, okay. In other words, you've got a whole table, and every book, you've got like triple tiered or double tiered down the line. And of course with UCJ, you've got a lot more books than I do. But if you've got multiple books, it makes for a great visual display. In fact, it's more important than the book stand. And also, it makes it easier for them to pick up a book and look at it. It's more inviting that way. So again, if you have the extra table and you've got the room, put all your books out on the table and just have them there that people can just pick up and look at, because it does make for a good visual display, and they're more likely to pick up a book and look at it than they are to take one off of the book rack.
Now, there are two other things I wanted us to take a look at in this particular picture. One of them is over here in front of your book rack. There's a stack of books.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Right. So, and actually thank you, CJ, for reminding me of that. So what I've done is I have packaged books in groups of 3. Okay. And if you buy 3 or more books, you get $1 off each book. Well, I have sold once I started doing that and the light bulb went on and I started doing that, I have sold far more books, comparatively speaking, as opposed to before. And it is a great tool, and it's a great visual. But if a customer, it's like my wife, she'll go to Bath and Body Works, but will not buy anything unless it's on sale. So if you've got books that are $1 off, you're going to sell more books. And so have them packaged 3 or more, $1 off, something like that. Save $3. I've sold a lot more books, and I think if someone's making a book display for their own, that basically will help you as well.
Well, and I like it, and I saw you do the other one. I'm going to have to do that for myself as well, because all of the series are already intact and they're already signed, so you're not blowing a lot of time pre-signing, and it's all they have to do is just pick it up and say, yeah, I want this one.
And I'd thought about that, pre-signing. That's a great idea as well. And if you get, I would say if you can, and it works better at Christmas, but if you can get a thick ribbon, a bright one, not a dull like a gray but something like a red or even a white, something that stands out to tie your books up in looks like a little package. It really does catch the eye. Definitely.
So one more thing before we change pictures is you have this neat little stand over here of bookmarks. And you have a really cool thing with the bookmarks too.
So the bookmarks are custom-made bookmarks. And each of them, there's one for each of the books that I've written. And actually got that display stand from Hobby Lobby. It was not very expensive. And hang the bookmarks from the from it's really a jewelry I think what its purpose was for necklaces,
Mm-hmm.
jewelry like necklaces. And instead of necklaces, we're hanging bookmarks from them. And also, if you buy 3 or more bookmarks, you get $1 off the 3. And so sold a lot of those as well. And
But there's something really cool on the end of the bookmarks. I wanted you to talk about.
the sign.
No, the little thing at the end of the talus. The little jars and the little.
Oh, we're
They're on the end of the.
oh 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 the you're talking about
The things that Nancy makes for your bookmarks.
the oh the you're talking about the bling, the
Yes,
bling.
the bling.
Oh, okay. So yes, I'm sorry.
That's
So
okay.
again, they're custom made bookmarks, and each of the bookmarks has bling attached to them, which are symbolic of the story. For example, like on Escape from Wheel, we have a couple of you have some wings that indicate flying horses. The open portal has a key, uh, to unlock the portal. Escape from uh, a witch's brew has a witch's potion. Janice Witch has a potion bottle as well. Edison Jones has a gear,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then the Treasure Hunt Club has a gold coin. So each of them has a symbol or a bling, if you want to call it that. And sometimes you use leather. Sometimes it's a chain that you attach the bling and the bookmark together. But I've found that a lot of times people will buy a bookmark because they like the way it looks. They've bought a book from me, but they don't want the bookmark for the book. They want the bookmark for another book because they just think it looks cool and are better,
And
and
they
that's
do
what they
look
do.
cool. That's why I
Yeah,
wanted you to talk about them. They do look
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So my next one this is one of my very first tables. And as you can see, it's kind of plain, but it's a great way to start. And on it, if you notice between this one and the other banner that I had, which was this one, this banner down here, I actually brand to the author. I don't brand to the series. Otherwise, you could continuously have to change over your banners every time you publish a book. It's kind of painful. So there are different avenues to go for that. This particular one is an outdoor one from Mike, and Mike has a different weight on his.
Sure. So you had already mentioned about the wind being an issue for canopies outside, and so
Which
if you
are a
look
must-have if you're outside.
right, so a friend of mine took some 4-inch PVC pipe and poured Saccrete or Quickcrete in them, and then attached a eye bolt at the top.
Mhm.
And so when it hardened, basically they weigh about 25 pounds, 30 pounds a piece. And you can use those to weigh down your canopy. We've been in some pretty windy weather, and uh, I generally only have to use 2, and I've never had an issue with them blowing away.
Mhm.
The other thing is you'll see there's a stool
Mhm.
there, and rather than a regular chair, which seats you lower,
Mhm.
okay, a stool is what I like to use because it allows you to sit, but it still puts you front and center to the customers or the people that are browsing, walking by.
Mhm.
And it just presents you better, and it keeps you closer to the action, so to speak.
That's
And again, you can see here on the display with the black table, see how all the books are spread out over that entire surface. And
mhm.
this was at Dalton Days this year. The background there, apparently it's a bank that they're doing facade on, but this is again in downtown Longview, and did quite well, by the way. At this had a lot of traffic and sold a lot of books.
Mhm. Now, one thing you can see on yours that you couldn't see on my first one is you have totes. Totes are an awesome thing. Some people just use cardboard boxes. After a while, those will go bad. Totes will keep everything that you've got for your
Oh
table
yeah. Oh yeah.
dry. They'll keep it humidity out, that sort of thing. But you also have a different type of dolly than the one I have. The
Right.
one I have can convert. It can either be upright or it can convert down like this one as well.
Yeah. It's a cart actually, and I got it at Harbor Freight,
Hmm.
and I had a more traditional kind of dolly, kind of like the one that you showed in the
Hmm.
previous picture. But I found that it was you have to stack things vertically on a dolly. Okay. Whereas
Unless the one that I have, it
right,
does both
right.
positions.
So I wanted one that had more surface like this, and I can tell
Hmm.
you uh, it's been awesome. It folds, the handle on it actually folds down for easier storage. So if you're carrying it in the back of your car or truck, and it's it's not as heavy as you might think, but it's sturdy enough to hold quite a bit of weight. And again, like as you pointed out too, we use plastic boxes to carry books and supplies in, and you can get those uh, at Walmart. You can get them at at Target or places like that. But that cart really has helped, and you can put a lot of stuff on it
Hmm.
and move it easily.
Okay, this one, I'm not sure when this one was, but this is for one of yours.
Yeah, this was at the Bossier City Comic Con, which was this earlier this spring. And the thing that's different about this particular display is you will see that my banner is on the back, Michael Scott Clifton. It's hanging from the pole and curtain partition. And what we found, and we talked about earlier, CJ, is if you can take curtains,
Hmm.
curtain, not
Hooks.
rods, curtain hooks, which you can get for a couple of bucks, and they fit perfectly around these pipe uh, curtain holders, and you can just run them through the grommets on your your banner,
Hmm.
and they hang perfectly. And it takes about 2 minutes to put up, and it takes about 2 minutes to take down.
Yep.
And it's easy. It's easy. And
Okay, we only have a few minutes, so we're going to kind of breeze through these last few ones if you have anything you want to add real quick before we take off to the next one.
nope.
Okay. So this one, again, you're trying to find as much to draw attention to your table as possible. Lydia's dragons do that like all day. They're great. The other thing is you can see on this table is that I have a tote bag. So what I do is if they buy the entire series, then they get a tote bag as well. If they buy like all of the Team Angel series, they get a tote bag to carry it all in as well. The tote bag has my logo on it. So it's just like my shirt, which is also there that I'm wearing. And it's free advertising. I love that sort of idea. On this one, there's a 3-tiered book rack, which you will see used later, but I wanted to draw attention to that one. And this one, you can see my 3 tiers getting a little bit more full. But for the North Texas Book Festival, my sister and I tend to share tables. So we got to like squish a lot on a little bit of space. But one thing that's there is a guy did balloons. And so he always makes me, whenever we're there, he makes me this monkey because I collect monkeys. And it attracts to the table. But as you can see, the awards are there, the author one sheet, the book, the cards, candy. Another way to stack books, Lydia has hers kind of turned a little bit. Another thing she has is she has postcards. Postcards a little bit bigger than the business cards. They're a little bit harder to lose. And then each of us have a sign that we got from Vistaprint. This one I put on there because my t-shirts, again, showing my logo, which every time I sell a book, I take a picture with that person and I also put it on my author page and I hand them the card and say, you can pull it off of the author page later, which drives traffic to your author page. But this is my friend Will, and he's in his alien suit, and it was just kind of a cute picture, but it's a great ad. This one is also from a Kilgore Geekend, but one thing I love about this one is the wizard. So if you have just a few minutes to talk about the wizard.
So what you want is to stop traffic, to draw the eye. That's what you're wanting. So I bought this. This is actually a mannequin I bought at a store that was going out of business, and my wife's cousin, who also does the custom-made bookmarks, made the facade, made the face, um,
Oh
and
wow.
so this is actually a character from one of my stories. It's Alabaster John, a wizard from the Conquest of the Veil series. I
Mhm.
got the idea from the Fort Worth Book Fest a couple years ago. This guy had the Mad Monk, like from the Addams Family,
Mhm.
Uncle Fester,
Mhm.
and he was the only one doing any business. Everybody was stopping because the monk drew their eye. He was selling books. So I said, "Man, what sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander." So uh,
Definitely.
anyway, so that's how we got the wizard Alabaster John.
Very cool. I liked him. I thought he was cute. So, like I said, we saw my first table. This is my table just from this last year. I can see it's a lot different. And one, this is a 6 tiered stand. And then the other stand is over here with the Texas Sisters Press books. But you can also notice there are QR codes. QR codes are pretty big, they're
Mhm.
pretty easy. Instead of having a place where you can actually sign up physically, what I do is I have them scan the QR code and literally they sign up for the email right there. It's great. There's also, I have QR codes made for each one of the series or for the general websites in and of themselves, and also from my Square site because I do sell books online on my Square site. So anything that they wanted to do was right there. Now, we mentioned earlier about turning the books toward the entrance. Sometimes there's not an entrance to do. So what I
Mhm.
normally do is with the two racks, one is kind of diagonal one way and one is diagonal to the other. So either way, I'm catching them. And then there's also little book stands that are on there for each of the books. This particular day, everybody's books were flying. It was just a really windy day, and I'm proud to say mine did not go anywhere. It was great. I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I did it. But as you can see, there's a lot that goes into one of our tables now because of the author, blogger, podcaster, publisher, farm, and pretty much everything else in between. So we cram a lot on that little itty bitty table, but it's very eye catching. Even the little bee for Serenity Acres is sitting in candy. So everything that's on there represents some portion of my world, so to speak. Another thing we're looking at is the closer you look at some of these tables, this is kind of a close up look at it. You can see the little book stands that these guys are on. Keith and Sarge, like I said, stuffed animals and the bee attract like you wouldn't believe. Candy is an awesome attractant. If nothing else, it brings the kids and the parents are right there. Our table has something for everybody on every age. And so it's really easy to get a hold of somebody and get them to kind of stop by our table because we have everything for everybody. Do you have anything? We're kind of over time, but do you have anything you want to add?
Just have your table organized as
Mhm.
best you can with your products displayed as best you can. And as you have grown, CJ, and your books have, you've had written more and more books. You have to become a little bit more creative to find room for everything. Yeah.
Mhm. And try to be as symmetrical as you can. My sister just takes everything and puts it on the table, and I go through and make sure that it's all balanced so that you're not like offending the eye when it comes near. But when you have a lot of books, it makes it a little bit more difficult. You just have to be a little bit more creative in what you're doing and how you're doing it. But I hope we were able to give you guys some really good ideas for your table. In the meantime, next week, same time, same sandbox, we're going to have author Michael Wigington, who's going to be talking about fantasy, the genre of fantasy. So until then, have a great week, and we'll see you
See
guys
ya.
next